Well, Sparks, it's finally here. It's the second generation subcompact crossover SUV that we've all been waiting for, the 2024 Chevrolet Trax 2RS. And we're going to talk about it right now. Welcome back. Welcome back to SparkPlug TV. My name is Chris, and I do car reviews for literally everybody, not just car enthusiasts. Before I begin today's video, please don't forget to like this video, comment something down below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video, which is whenever I can. Thank you so much. Did you guys know that this is technically the second generation of the Chevrolet Trax? That's right. They debuted in 2013 as a bulbous, bug-eyed, subcompact crossover SUV, and it did its job. You know, I mean, it was an entry-level vehicle, and it had some capability, and when I worked at Carvana, we sold those all day long. Other than that, it just had some mid-gen refreshes and not a whole lot of changes. This, on the other hand, wow. Let's get into it. Unlike its cousin, the Buick Envista, the Chevrolet Trax comes in 5 different trim levels starting around $21,000 and can be had up into the active trim for $24,995. This is the 2RS model coming in around $24,445. Now, what makes the Buick Envista just a little bit more expensive than the Trax? I'm glad you asked. The Trax doesn't come with a power liftgate. The infotainment system starts in an 8-inch infotainment screen as opposed to an 11-inch one. There's no available rain-sensing windshield wipers, and there's no available lumbar support on the power adjustable seats either. So just a few features that make it just a little bit more cheaper on the Trax, but it does at least come with some premium 19-inch bicolor alloy wheels that are really stunning. The standard model LS comes with these 17-inchers. Just like the Buick Envista, this Trax comes with a 1.2-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine that outputs 137 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. It only comes with a front-wheel drive drivetrain and a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, the difference between the Envista and this one is the fact that the Trax actually gets an 0 to 60 of 8.8 seconds as opposed to the Envista's 9.3. Do you guys remember the outgoing Trax? The general aesthetic of it was, I would just say, bulbous, and also just no. This is, well, yes. It's a completely different car. I mean, it just looks nothing like the outgoing Trax. It's sportier, it's more handsome, it's more commanding on the road. It is just in its entirety, ugh. So good. It's got this separated LED daytime running light, but it does come with LED headlamps, y'all. For a standard entry-level vehicle across all the trim levels. That's incredible. I really like the sporty nature of the front grille and just the way that it kind of ties in with the silver trim right here. In general, it's got a dynamic looking hood, and then there is this gorgeous line that goes from the turn signal all the way to the back of the C-pillar that really gives it some more dynamic shape. It does have some plastic fendering that is pretty popular nowadays. I mean, it looks fine on this. It's not nearly as wide as some of the other ones, but you know, it's got blacked out side view mirrors. And yeah, the front end is just, oh God, it's so gorgeous. Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna lie, the back end's design language took me a little bit more time to get used to. I'm a little bit more of a fan of it now. I'm still kind of like on the fence about it. I think my biggest gripe with the back end are these tail lamps. They're just doing a lot, but I do think that they look good with the car. I just think that it's a lot. Speaking of the tail lamps, what I forgot to mention earlier is that the Buick Envista comes with standard LED tail lamps, whereas these are halogen, which makes it just a tiny bit more cheaper than the Buick Envista. I really like the RS badge, and I do like the bumper, and I like the way that the back end is shaped kind of near where the license plate is, and I like the back windshield as well. The other difference between the Envista is that this has a rear windshield wiper, whereas the Buick Envista's Sportback design did not have that. In terms of fuel economy, you do have a combined fuel economy of 30 miles per gallon with 32 on the highway and 28 in the city, which is pretty decent for a subcompact crossover SUV. Now, in terms of cargo capacity, like I said earlier, there is no power liftgate available, but you do have 24 cubic feet of storage and 54 cubic feet with all of the seats down, which is a lot more than the Mazda CX-30. Let's go inside. Okay, hello and welcome to the interior of the 2024 Chevrolet Trax 2RS. Now, the other thing I forgot to mention about what makes this a little bit cheaper than the Invista is the fact that the standard seats on the Invista come with a cloth insert and leatherette. Now, this one does have the leather seating, but the standard LS seats are going to be just fully cloth, and that makes it just a tiny bit cheaper. I like the Trax's interior much better than the Invista. I wasn't a fan of the Invista's interior, but I actually just really like the way that this is designed a little bit more. I think that the sporty nature of this interior works in the Trax's favor. The same size instrument cluster for the gauge cluster and the infotainment system. Now you do get a standard 8-inch screen as opposed to this widescreen 11-inch screen. Compared to the two models that I've had recently, they're the same. And I just really like the way that it's designed more. And the fact that it is its own screen somehow makes it easier for me to see the gauge cluster. I can actually see the compass, I can see the park reticle, and I can see everything else. I can see everything in this. I don't know what they did to this version. Maybe they just pushed it down just a little bit more, but it works. And speaking of the instrument panel, I really like the way that they are separated. It just kind of gives it a little bit more of a personality. I also really love this red trim and the turbine style HVAC vents, especially with the RS badging on the piano gloss black. It's really nice. The differentiation on the door paneling, it still does have stitching based on whatever color trim that you have. Plus, instead of the differentiator bar that was up here, they have a piano gloss black texturized kind of plastic piece down here that gives it just a little bit more of a differentiation. Additionally, you can find the same exact gear selector that I have in my 2022 Chevrolet Colorado, just with a red RS badge and some red RS stitching. I mean, I really like this gear selector, so I'm not complaining, but it does have a automatic climate control system. It does have a little bit of a flat bottom steering wheel for that sporty edge to it. And yeah, I mean, I really love the seats. The seats are really cool looking. I like the little stripe that they have in the middle, right below the headrest, and the RS stitched into the headrest is a really nice touch too. And I really like the way that they're designed. Again, not much of a difference in terms of between the Invista and this. The infotainment system is virtually the same. The only difference is that I have been having a few more issues with the wireless CarPlay than I did in the Invista. I didn't have any issues with that. But in the Invista, the wireless charging pad didn't work, but this wireless charging pad actually does work. So I don't understand where the differentiation lies, but it's the same operating system. I don't know. But I just prefer the way that this one looks on the interior. It's just a little bit cooler to me. But how does it drive? You know, just like the Buick Invista, because, I mean, this basically is the Buick Invista. Or is it the Trax? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? The Invista or the Trax? Anyways, just like it. It drives pretty well. Now, obviously the tires just squealed and the traction just came on, but as a day-to-day driver, it's really nice to drive. And honestly too, it's pretty nimble for what it is. I mean, it's got a very standard suspension system. There's just really not a whole lot of fine tuning, but it's actually a pretty decent car in terms of ride quality. There's a little bit of, there's a decent amount of noise, but it's a cheaper car. And it's got a tachometer so that I could see when I need to manually shift. So that's fun. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video, which is whenever I can. And yeah, what else is there to say about the 2024 Chevrolet Trax other than I already texted the PR guy and said, can I buy this off of you? I'm not even kidding, because it is cheap. It's cool looking. It's got all the tech that I want in it. It's cool looking on the inside. It's comfortable. It drives okay, it's not like it's not like a speed racer by any means, but it handles pretty decently. The braking's really good. And, I guess the only thing that could technically be lacking is the acceleration, but it's really not even that bad. Of course it's not glue you to your seat by any means, but it's still pretty good, especially for a daily driver. I really love the steering wheel. It's a really cool car. Especially from once it came to now, come on. For $24,000, this is a ton of car. 100%. Anyways, yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for today. I'm gonna go film B-roll and go pet my cat. Goodbye. Hey Sparks, thanks for watching today's video. Do you want more SparkPlug TV content? Then you can choose one of these 3 options. Right over here. The middle button is to subscribe to my channel, so please do that. Right over here. These 3. I can't see them in real life, but they're right here.